My dear brothers and sisters, this video, yes, this one right here, was made just for you. Because one day, you and I will stand before Allah on the Day of Judgment. And at that moment, every single choice we made will be laid bare before us. One of the most powerful choices, the person we chose to marry. Ask yourself right now, did that choice bring you closer to Allah or further away? Did it fill your life with barakah, or did it weigh you down with hardship and regret? You see, marriage isn't just about falling in love. Yes, love is beautiful. It's a gift. But love alone isn't enough to hold a marriage together. Emotions can fade. Butterflies come and go. What truly keeps a marriage alive is faith, character, and a strong foundation in deen. But today, too many people rush. They get swept up in excitement, chasing beauty, wealth, or status, and forget to look deeper. They ignore the timeless wisdom from Allah and His beloved messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. And sadly, many of these marriages fall apart because they were built on what fades, not on what lasts. Let's remember the powerful words of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. A woman is married for 4 reasons: her wealth, her lineage, her beauty, and her religion. Choose the one who is religious. May your hands be rubbed with dust, i.e., may you prosper. Sahih al-Bukhari, 5090, Sahih Muslim, 1466. This isn't just advice for men, it's for women too. Yes, beauty fades, money can disappear, status changes. But faith? That's what anchors a marriage. That's what brings peace to the heart and barakah to the home. Because someone who's connected to Allah knows how to treat their spouse. They know how to be patient, how to forgive, how to raise righteous children, and how to turn to Allah when life gets hard. So before you say yes to someone, ask yourself, do they live their life by the Qur'an and Sunnah? Are they honest, kind, and sincere? Will they be your support system through ease and difficulty? Are they striving to please Allah, not just in public, but in private too? A marriage based on deen isn't just about love. It's about peace, trust, and divine blessings that keep growing with time. So let's take a deeper look at what truly matters when choosing a life partner, the qualities that Allah and His Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, told us to value most. 1. Deen, religion. The real foundation of a blessed marriage. The very first thing to look for in a spouse, before anything else, is their connection with Allah. Because love may fade, looks will change, and wealth comes and goes. But someone's faith? That's what lasts. When 2 people are joined by deen, their bond can withstand every storm. That's why faith and righteousness should be your top priority. Allah reminds us of this in the Quran. Do not marry polytheistic women until they believe. A believing slave woman is better than a polytheist, even though she might please you. Surah Al-Baqarah 22121. This verse is a powerful reminder. Iman is more valuable than beauty, money, or social status. What really matters is the heart. Does it fear Allah? Does it follow His guidance? A righteous spouse will remind you to pray, encourage you to fast, support your charity, and inspire you to trust in Allah during tough times. They won't just be your partner, they'll be your helper in the journey to Jannah. Now imagine the opposite, being married to someone who discourages your worship, mocks your faith, or pulls you away from your deen. No matter how much love there is, that kind of relationship lacks true blessings. But when you're with someone whose heart is tied to Allah, You grow together. You become better, stronger, and more peaceful. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, gave us a beautiful standard when he said, "The best of you are those who are best to their wives." Sunan Ibn Majah, 1978. This is a clear message. Someone who truly follows Islam will treat their spouse with kindness, gentleness, and respect. They won't be harsh, neglectful, or abusive because they understand something powerful. Allah is watching. Every action counts. So ask yourself this: would you rather be loved by someone who fears losing you, or someone who fears displeasing Allah by mistreating you? You see, when a person's love for Allah is greater than their love for you, that's the kind of love that protects, honors, and never betrays. Because their heart is guided, not just by emotions, but by taqwa, the consciousness of Allah. So before you let feelings decide your future, pause and ask yourself, is this person truly devoted to their faith? Will this relationship bring me closer to Allah or further away? If the answer is no, then no matter how strong your feelings are, the marriage will struggle. But if the answer is yes, then you found something rare and real. A relationship built on a foundation of deen is not just about love. It's about lasting peace, growth, and barakah. 2. Good character, beyond love. Look at how they live. Love might bring you close, but character is what keeps you close. So many people fall in love with charm, appearance, or smooth words, but they forget to ask the most crucial question. What kind of person are they when no one's watching? The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, clearly said, "When someone whose religion and character you are pleased with comes to you with a marriage proposal, then marry him. If you don't, there will be turmoil and corruption in the land." Sunan at-Tirmidhi, 1084. This hadith is a powerful reminder. It's not just about deen, it's also about akhlaq and character. Someone may appear religious on the outside, but if they lack patience, honesty, or kindness, that outer image won't create a peaceful marriage. So take a moment and reflect. What happens when love cools down? When life gets hard? When you face disagreements? What keeps a marriage strong is character, not just passion. Here are a few traits that truly matter. Patience. Will they stay calm in tough moments or lose control? A patient spouse brings peace to the home. An impatient one? Chaos. Kindness. How do they treat the people who can't offer them anything in return? Do they speak gently or with harshness? That's who they really are. Honesty. Trust is the heartbeat of marriage. If they lie about small things, can you trust them with the big ones? Responsibility. Will they fulfill their duties, not just emotionally, but practically? A responsible spouse is your shield. An irresponsible one becomes a burden. Too often, people ignore these signs. They think love will fix everything. But the truth is, bad character always shows up. Love can make you ignore red flags at first, but over time, those flaws can break you. A harsh, selfish, or dishonest person will eventually hurt you, no matter how charming they seemed at the start. On the other hand, someone with good character, they'll be your peace, your support, your companion, through all of life's ups and downs. So again, ask yourself, is this person patient under pressure? Do they treat others with respect and compassion? Are they honest? Do they take their responsibilities seriously? If the answer is yes, then you've found someone with the qualities that build a lasting, loving marriage. If the answer is no, No amount of love can make up for the stress that bad character will bring into your life. Choose wisely, because in the end, character, not charm, is what determines whether your marriage brings happiness or heartbreak. 3. Compatibility. Are you headed in the same direction? Here's a truth many overlook. Love might bring two people together, but it's compatibility that keeps them walking side by side. One of the most common mistakes people make is ignoring whether their future spouse actually shares their vision for life. They fall for the feelings, but forget to ask, are we truly aligned? The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, didn't just teach us to marry for love. He showed us the importance of shared values, shared purpose, and walking a shared path. Think of marriage like a journey. If you and your spouse aren't headed to the same destination, your paths will eventually pull apart. So take a moment to ask, do we share the same priorities in life? If one of you is striving to grow in deen, while the other is indifferent about Islam, that difference will create tension. If one wants simplicity and the other chases luxury, it will lead to conflict. Real peace comes when both of you are on the same page about what truly matters. Will this person support my dreams in a halal way? A good spouse lifts you up without pulling you away from your faith. They'll cheer you on while reminding you to seek Allah's blessings in every goal. But if they block your growth or dismiss your dreams, frustration builds. Can we build a home centered on Islam? A house filled with faith is a house filled with barakah. Will they remind you to pray? Will they help raise righteous children? Will they join you in giving, fasting, and standing up for what's right? These aren't just nice to have questions, they're essential. Because without shared values and vision, even the strongest love starts to crack. A successful marriage is one where both partners help each other get closer to Jannah. Even the Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, advised Fatima bint Qais to consider character and compatibility before accepting a marriage proposal. He did not just tell her to marry for love. He told her to think wisely about the kind of person she would share her life with. Sahih Muslim 1480. This is why it is so important to marry someone whose presence strengthens your faith. If a person pulls you away from Allah, no matter how much you love them, your marriage will not have blessings. But if they remind you of Allah, encourage you to grow, and support you in both deen and dunya, then you have found a truly compatible spouse. Love alone is not enough. Compatibility matters. A marriage built on shared values will be filled with understanding, harmony, and barakah. But a marriage where two people are constantly pulling in opposite directions will only bring struggle. Choose someone who will walk beside you on the path to Jannah, someone whose presence brings you closer to Allah, not someone who distracts you from Him. Number 4, family background. Understanding their upbringing matters. A person's upbringing shapes their values, character, and approach to relationships. Islam teaches us that family matters, not because of wealth or status, but because the environment in which a person was raised deeply influences their behavior and mindset. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing upon him, chose spouses from noble families, not because of their lineage, but because they were raised in homes that valued faith, good manners, and righteousness. A person's family background is not just about their name or reputation. It is about the values they have absorbed since childhood. Before choosing a spouse, ask yourself these important questions. Were they raised in a home that valued Islam and good manners? A person who grew up in an environment where prayer, honesty, and kindness were prioritized is more likely to carry these qualities into their marriage. If they were raised in a household that neglected faith, they may struggle to implement Islamic teachings in their own home. How do they treat their parents, siblings, and elders? The way someone interacts with their family tells you how they will treat their spouse. If they are respectful, caring, and patient with their loved ones, they will likely bring those same qualities into their marriage. But if they are harsh, neglectful, or dismissive, those traits may also appear in their relationship with their husband or wife. Do they respect family ties as commanded by Allah? Islam places great importance on maintaining family connections. A person who cuts ties with their own relatives, disrespects their parents, or ignores their responsibilities toward family may not understand the value of relationships in marriage. The Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, said, "The best of you are those who are best to their families." Sunan Ibn Majah, 1978. A person who is good to their family will most likely be good to their spouse. They will understand the importance of patience, respect, and loyalty. On the other hand, a person who constantly argues with their family, holds grudges, or fails to show kindness at home may struggle to build a peaceful and loving marriage. While no one has a perfect family, it is important to observe how a person interacts with their loved ones. If they were raised in a household that emphasized Islam, kindness, and responsibility, they are more likely to bring those qualities into their own marriage. Love alone does not teach a person how to be a good spouse. Their upbringing plays a major role. Choose someone who was raised with values that align with Islam, because their family background will shape the way they build a future with you. Number 5, financial stability, more than just numbers. Let's get real. Marriage isn't just an emotional commitment. It's a responsibility. And while Islam doesn't say you need to be rich before you get married, it does emphasize something essential: financial stability. Allah says in the Qur'an, "Let those who find not the means for marriage keep themselves chaste until Allah enriches them of His bounty." Surah An-Nur 24:33. This verse reminds us that while marriage is encouraged, it should never be rushed into without preparation. Marriage needs more than love. It needs planning, effort, and the ability to provide for a family. For the husband, this means being ready to fulfill his basic duties, providing food, clothing, and shelter, having a steady source of income, even if it's modest, being responsible, hardworking, and realistic. It's not about being rich, it's about being reliable. And that includes avoiding the mistake of starting marriage in debt just to impress others. Islam teaches us to live within our means. Starting your new life with financial stress is like building your home on shaky ground. For the wife, financial stability means having realistic expectations. A righteous wife doesn't marry for luxury or status. She marries for faith, for stability, and for the kind of man who will walk beside her through both ease and hardship. She supports her husband through tough times, doesn't compare their life to others, manages the home with wisdom, avoiding waste or extravagance. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "The best marriage is the one that is easiest on the expenses." Sunan ibn Majah, 1847. Simplicity brings barakah. It's not about how much you have. It's about how well you manage it, how grateful you are for it, and how much peace it brings to your home. Before you enter marriage, ask, am I ready to provide or to live within what is provided? Do we both understand our financial roles? Are we both committed to building a stable, simple, and peaceful life? Because when both partners embrace financial responsibility, their home will be filled not with luxury, but with contentment and barakah. Number 6, emotional and mental maturity, when love grows up. Now let's talk about something just as important, maybe even more important, emotional and mental maturity. Let's be honest, love alone is not enough. Love without wisdom turns into conflict. Love without patience becomes resentment. And love without emotional control, that's a disaster waiting to happen. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was the perfect example of emotional intelligence in marriage. He understood his wife's emotions, knew when to be gentle and when to guide, listened with compassion, and responded with wisdom. His love wasn't just in words, it was in understanding, patience, and emotional maturity. A mature person controls their emotions instead of letting emotions control them, doesn't lash out in anger or hold grudges, knows how to listen, how to compromise, and how to grow. Many marriages fail not because the couple didn't love each other, but because one or both of them weren't ready. Not ready to handle stress, not ready to communicate calmly, not ready to think beyond themselves. So ask yourself, does this person stay calm under pressure? Do they respond with wisdom or react out of ego? Are they emotionally stable or emotionally impulsive? Because emotional strength is what keeps love alive when life gets hard. Marriage is not about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone mature enough to build something real with. Let love be led by faith. Let emotion be guided by wisdom. And let your heart follow someone whose maturity brings peace, not chaos. Signs of emotional and mental maturity in a spouse. Let's be honest. Marriage isn't a fairy tale. It's beautiful, but it's also real. And real love requires real maturity. So if you're thinking about marriage, or already married, ask yourself, what does emotional and mental maturity really look like? Let's walk through the signs. 1. Patience. During disagreements, every couple disagrees. It's normal, but here's the difference. An emotionally mature person doesn't raise their voice, throw insults, or storm off in anger. They stay calm, they listen, and they work through the issue with wisdom, not ego. 2. Taking responsibility. Without being selfish, marriage isn't me, me, me. It's us. A mature spouse knows that marriage comes with responsibilities and sacrifices. They don't just think about their own comfort. They share the burden, they compromise, and they support you without expecting praise in return. 3. Staying committed even when feelings. Shift emotions come and go. There will be days of deep love and days when you're just tired or stressed. A wise spouse doesn't let temporary emotions damage something permanent. They stay loyal. They stay grounded. They stay committed, not just to the feeling of love, but to the choice to love. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, taught us a powerful truth. The strong person is not the one who can wrestle others down. The strong one is the one who controls himself when angry. Sahih al-Bukhari, 6114, Sahih Muslim, 2609. True strength isn't in muscles, it's in self-control. So ask yourself, does this person handle stress with wisdom or with frustration? Do they communicate calmly, or do they let anger speak for them? Are they open to growth and correction, or do they always have to be right? A marriage where maturity leads will survive life's storms. But a marriage driven by impulse and pride, that one will always struggle. Choose a partner who is not just loving, but emotionally strong, wise, and grounded in faith. Before you say I do, pause and reflect. Marriage is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. And no matter how intense love feels, emotions alone won't sustain a marriage. What truly lasts is faith, character, compatibility, and maturity. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, didn't tell us to marry for love alone. He told us to marry for deen, good character, and the ability to carry responsibility. Here are 3 questions you must reflect on before stepping into marriage. 1. Will this person bring me closer to Allah? A righteous spouse reminds you to pray, helps you stay on the straight path, and puts Allah at the center of your life together. Shalom 2. Do they have good character and clean intentions? Looks fade, money comes and goes. But character, honesty, kindness, humility, these things remain. Marry someone whose heart is clean and whose actions show sincerity. 3. Are we compatible in our values and life goals? Even the strongest love can be tested if your visions for life are completely different. A successful marriage is built on shared goals, mutual respect, and understanding, not just feelings. Your marriage can be your greatest blessing or your biggest test. A righteous spouse will be your peace, your support, your companion in both this world and the next. And if you're still wondering what to ask Allah for in a spouse, remember this beautiful dua from the Qur'an. Our Lord, grant us from among our spouses and offspring comfort to our eyes, and make us an example for the righteous. Surah Al-Furqan 2574. May Allah grant each of us a partner who brings light to our hearts, strength to our faith, and love that leads us to Jannah. Ameen.